Today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Check the link down below for 50% off. We're going to be testing Crayola's new marker mixer and see if we can actually elevate them to make them an artist quality grade by turning them into alcohol markers. In a previous video, we tested Crayola marker makers to see if we can actually change them from just water-based crayons into an alcohol-based crayon. If you want to watch that experimental video, I will leave the link down below. But this is a new product because if we look here, Marker Mixer is a new device where you can mix two different colors to get two basically on the same nib. It looks really exciting. It's basically my own little green dream because we're combining nibs together and making a dual colored nib. And as you can see the examples on the actual packaging, it looks like we can get two different colors. But, if we actually succeed in turning it into an alcohol-based marker, what that means is these two colors can actually become blenders. So we can blend the colors together to make a seamless, beautiful color. But then again, that's just me, and we're gonna find this out together. So basically, we're going to test the machine as it is, and then we're going to do it with my own experiment. I already know that Crayola does do crayons right, so I don't need to worry if it's going to go into cash or if it's gonna go
in the trash.
This video is going to be more of an experiment than anything else. Let me know in the comment section below if you think this is going to work or if it's not going to work. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click on all notifications while you're there. What is this? It's a sharp, pointy thing. It's how we show affection by waving it around. It's jiggly. And if you click on all notifications, you become a grain of salt in the Salt Shaker family. Welcome home. And the process really should be quite simple. It says combine, watch, and draw. We even get a light up window to see the colors combine. I'm really excited about that. And if we look in the back here, by the way, this does require batteries, probably for the light up part of that thing. So it looks like we get a variety of colors and a color combining sheet. We get black. Finally! Sometimes Crayola doesn't add black or brown, which bothers me because I love my black and browns because you need them. You need them in the kit. And we get 100 marker tips. So let's see what we get inside. Here's what we get inside. A variety of colors for the Crayola markers, which we're going to test out their juiciness because that's going to matter. 2 blank marker holders, which is starting to worry me because we have 2 of...
You saw nothing.
So as I was saying, my biggest... There we go. Was there anything else in there? My worry is that there's no actual chamber on the inside. It just has this mechanism. Listen to that. I don't know what it's for, but now I'm wondering, once we use a nib, it has a limited lifespan because it means we have to throw it away because we only get 2 of these and no storage space for the actual nibs. So it's going to be very interesting to test this out and see if the purpose is to actually dispose of it within a limited amount of time. And we also get the mixing station, I think. I'm not sure what this is. What is that? Nothing? Nothing. And over here, it seems like this is where we put our markers. This is where we get to look at our markers, which is not exactly the ideal type window to look through, but we're gonna see that. And then we get 100 of these tiny nibs. So this is basically where the magic should be happening and the color combination. So we get 100 of these, which is quite a bit. But again, we're probably throwing them away if we can't store them vertically in a small container. That's my guess. We also get guides. We have a coloring guide here. So it tells you what colors you can mix with what, so that way you have your combination chart, which is pretty useful, I have to say. And this is probably an instruction guide. Maybe. Yep. Black and white and a lot of text. This is too much for me. I need pictures. Crayola. No, that's too much reading. I need pictures for instructions, please. IKEA can do it. You can do it. You know, now I'm starting to wonder if I'm actually going to be able to do this right because the markers are already given to me. I can't actually change the nibs in there. I'm not sure how I'm going to turn them into alcohol-based, but I still have ideas. So just keep watching because I think I can do this. Let's see if my brain can still work. But here's a marker pad and we're going to see whether or not the colors are juicy. Let's start with red. Oh my God. Well, you are juiced up. We have orange, Can these actually blend? You know what? We'll do the test later and see if these actually do blend or not on blending paper. Yellow, light green, dark green, dark blue, light blue. Huh, there's barely any difference between the two blues. Actually, never mind. It looks better on camera, but in real life, it's very minimal. I would have expected a little bit more sky blue. Raspberry. And purple. And here we have black. So these colors are pretty vibrant and they are pretty juicy. Now I'm curious, can we actually make a orange with red and yellow? And let's bring the yellow in. So we've layered both of them together. And the answer is kind of. Not quite. Let's start with yellow first and then add the red. I don't think so. It's still very red dominant. And now it's time to use our device. It is tiny. Look at that. It is really small. So is it a mechanism that's necessary? I don't think so. I think it's just a gimmick to make this seem more expensive. I'm also going to see if we can just combine the colors without this. We'll see. But first, the batteries. All right, my friend, how do we turn you on? The question of the century. Oh, I think it's activated by pressing this inner button here. There you go. There's an inner little button on the inside right here. So it's activated by pressing this down, which means this is what activates it. This marker thing. There you go. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. All right, so we're gonna put some of the nibs over here, because why not? Let's put some over here. Oh gosh, why am I making a mess? Okay, we'll put some over here. Let's distribute this properly. Voila. And what we're going to do is, according to the instructions, we're going to shove one of these up there, like so, I think. Oh, I get it. That's what the mechanism is. Okay. Okay, hang on. This is exciting. I understand now. Remember I did this? This actually has a purpose. If you look here, what we see is that once we push the nib inside, this thing popped up, which means that when we're done with the color, we just have to press on top here, and this should come out. Yes. Did I ruin it? I ruined it. I ruined the nib. So it got smashed at the bottom. So this is a one-time use type of nib. Don't experiment like I do unless you're ready for the consequences. All right, let's shove another one in here. I'm gonna put you in here, like so. This is back up. And you can see on the one that we didn't use yet, this is not activated. So this one here brings that up. Okay, this is exciting. So we're gonna put you in the middle. Okay, interesting. And I want dramatic colors. So we're gonna go with orange and blue. We want these. Am I supposed to put it in at the same time? I'm gonna remove both and we're gonna insert them until they touch. Touch, hello? There you go. Ooh, look at that. So we have to keep it here until it absorbs all the way up. The blue is kind of overtaking. Can I push you even further? Aha, there you go. So you need to have a click and then they absorb. So it says to wait until they go all the way up. This is interesting. The blue is kind of too dominant. So I'm gonna let the orange take over a little bit. I don't know if this is supposed to, oh gosh, now the orange is taking over. There's no winning here. Look at that, we have a middle color that's right there. Okay, let's stop this. Take away the blue and take away the orange. And this is the fun part. Let's move you out of here. And this is what it looks like. It has like, oh gosh, the back part definitely is not equal to the front part or the side. So they kind of look a little wonky from every angle. All right, so let's test one side. Let's see if we can get just orange. Okay, let's see if we can get just blue. Oh, not really. And let's see the middle. Can we get both colors? Kind of. There we go. Okay, so you really have to get both angles very specifically to be able to get blue and orange. That does not last a long time. There we go. Oh my God, that is probably the best one that we've done to date. Look at that. But it has to be a very specific angle. What if we do the middle? Let's see if we can get the color combination. Hello? Yeah, that is dry. Look at that. Oh no. Now, the marker maker by Crayola is fantastic. The marker mixer, I have mixed feelings about it. But okay, so this is really dry. This is basically finished. So this is wasted. Now I'm curious if it can get juicier, but I don't think so. You can see we can't actually blend the colors. It just kind of dries up together. So we would have to get the nib very moist. Sorry for that word, but we have to get it pretty moist for it to work proper. My brain working here. Whoa. that was hard. And since this is disposable, there we go. We can get rid of it since it is pretty dry. Now to give it a bit more of a fighting chance, let's go ahead and add another nib, and we're gonna do colors that are supposed to mix to give us green. Why am I having a hard time? There you go. We're gonna put the nib all the way in, like so. Got you in here. And we're going to see if this color combination is actually going to give us a green center or not. And then we're gonna start with the experiment. So we have a light blue and a yellow. Did this click in? There we go. Now it clicked in, and now we just push you both in here. Look at that. Look at that. So we can see the colors go in. This time I'm not doing anything. I'm not tampering with it. So y'all don't say, Jackie, you're doing it wrong. I know I do things wrong. This whole channel is just me experimenting. So we're gonna let it do its thing. And I'm not gonna move it. I'm not gonna try and tamper with it. I'm gonna give it a few more seconds because it doesn't tell us how long. It just says when both colors cover the whole mixer marker tip. That's all. It doesn't give us an amount of seconds or minutes. But according to this black and white picture, it looks like it has to go all the way up. So let's keep an eye on that, because technically all the way up means it should go all the way here, which is taking a long time.
Time go by so slowly. Time go by so slowly.
You know what I love? Cooking food without having to think about it. Let's do it. Chicken korma style curry. And here it is, looking absolutely scrumptious.
With those beautiful red deep colors and that aromatic smell. But oh yes, let's look at the garlic bread that comes with it in the recipe.
And I can't tell you enough how much this smells absolutely delicious. So let's go for it. Oh, the spices are really nice on this one, and a little bit of sweetness too. Let's try the garlic bread. Oh. And yes, this meal is made by none other than the huge supporters of this channel and sponsors of today's video, HelloFresh. For those of you who don't know HelloFresh, they take the stress out of cooking or even thinking about what to cook. So even if you're not a pro in the kitchen, HelloFresh's foolproof recipes arrive pre-portioned and easy to prepare in just a few steps. Plus, nearly all of HelloFresh's packaging is curbside recyclable in most places in the US. And with HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients, they cut down your food waste by 23%. Again, compared to grocery shopping, which is not just good for your wallet, but good for the planet. And me good. Every week, they have 40 recipes and 100 seasonal and convenience items. And they really do have recipes that can range for different lifestyles, whether it's veggie-friendly, carb-smart, and even pescatarian. And the foods arrive straight from the farm to your door within 7 days, so you know what you're getting is definitely fresh. So what are you waiting for? Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code NERDYCRAFTER50 to get 50% off and free shipping. Yes, you heard, 50% off and free shipping when you go to HelloFresh.com and use the code NERDYCRAFTER50. Thank you, HelloFresh, for being huge supporters of this channel and sponsoring today's video. Aha! So it took approximately a minute and a half, but you could see over here that it made its way all the way up, which means we should have, oh goodness, that is contamination, which means we should have less issues with dryness, in theory. So that's good for me to know, because I know now how long it takes to absorb liquid all the way up. My brain working again. It's working. All right, you get out here, and we can see that we do have blue, yellow, and green right in the middle. It doesn't look like we'll be able to get much yellow going on, but let's see if we can. So here we're attempting for yellow. Okay, so again, I'm coloring with the edge of one side. Here we have the blue, and if we go in the center, oh, we're getting blue? Weird. Okay, let's go on the side where both colors are. Not yet. Nope. We're getting somewhere, but not quite. This is way more challenging than I expected. It's not exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, you know what? It's giving me a gradient, which is neat. Now, can I do this? Ooh. So we are getting 3 colors here. Not too bad. It's really hard to control from what I can tell. And let's see if it's gonna get dry pretty soon. Yeah, it's already dry. So you can see I didn't really color that much. Let's see, I'm coloring here. It's already dry. Let's pop you out. Oh, wow. Quite the force. Now the next question that goes through my mind, I got a lot of questions that go through my, and you know what? It's okay. Asking questions just means you're smart, because you want to know things. So don't ever let anyone tell you can't ask questions. Ask all the questions you want. Do we actually need the machine? This is a machine here that you paid money for. What if we got rid of this and you just have the marker maker and you had an empty tube and a nib. So let's go ahead and push the nib in, and let's see if we could just touch these two tips over here. Get your minds out of the gutter. Okay, we're gonna try and make purple. We have the red and we have the blue. So we're gonna touch these over here. So let's see if we can get away with it. If I could just do that. Okay, ready? I feel like I need to go this way. I feel like this way makes more sense. Hang on. Look at that. Okay, if we do this. Okay, if we bring these close together and we just touch like that, will this work? Oh gosh, it's not stable. Kind of need it to be like this. So I'm gonna put my finger in the between. If we do that and we just put the marker in between here, is that gonna work? I feel like it is. It might take longer, but we'll wait and see. So I'm just gonna stand here as still as possible, and we're gonna speed it up for you, Grain, so that you can see that it is indeed working. So I don't think you need the machine, but you do need pretty big hands, and here it is, it works. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. My fingers are really cramping. But you can see that if we keep the other one here vertical, look at that. We're actually getting a nice middle part over here as opposed to a weird swirl that we've been getting on the previous ones, as you can see on the screen here. This one is legitimately down the middle. So maybe the machine is the problem. Maybe they needed to fix the design of the machine. So let's just get red alone. Let's go with just blue. And it should be more predictable now because we have a proper center. Okay, a little bit. Not quite. Less predictable. Come on. No, we are getting gradients. Let's see if we can get purple. No, not quite. We get a mess. So it doesn't really matter with the machine or not. It's still really hard to predict where the colors will go. So now we're getting to the juicy part of the content. We're going to be using rubbing alcohol to make alcohol markers. Now don't deny this. Listen, this is exactly what we used in the previous video of testing out Crayola marker maker. And it was an absolute wonderful surprise. Again, I will link that video down below so you can see the actual results. To the point where even Super Rae Dizzle and Jazza made their own experiments with that kit and that theory. So I'm a trendsetter. And I usually find that the 99% works best. You could definitely use 70, but 99 is the one I got the best results with. And before we experiment with the color mixing, we're just going to make regular colors. So we're just going to see how juicy we can get the regular markers to be and if it works in the way that I think it will. And I'm also hoping it's really going to make those markers way juicier. That's my hope. So then we should have way better blending. So I'm going to go ahead and put some in here, like so. And I have a tiny pipette. Let's pull you in. Oh, that took everything. Good job. And what I'm going to try to do here is feed the alcohol in here. So we need the rubbing alcohol to make it a little bit more receptive to the color. And at this point, I'm not sure how much it's going to need, but if we bring your grains closer, you're going to see that it's actually taking quite a bit of color in here. Look at that. It's just absorbing it. So let's keep going until I get a decent saturation. I think this is good enough. We're gonna put this one in here. And I'm just going to feed it with red. There we go. I don't know if it's going to take. Maybe I saturated it too much. Are you going to take or not? Hang on, let's put you down. Okay, it seems to be taking, but very slowly. So let's let it do its thing. All right, so this took way longer than I expected. It took about 6 or 7 minutes. So I'm going to pull it right out. I think that's enough for the red. We're gonna cap this one. It's not fully saturated, but I think I may have put too much rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to attempt the same thing, but this time with less rubbing alcohol. Just a few drops on either side, like so. And we're gonna go in with the yellow. And does it smell like a doctor's office? It definitely does. So we're putting this all the way in, and here you go with yellow. Voila. And this seems to be taking way quicker than when we put too much rubbing alcohol. We'll see if that makes a difference. This definitely was much quicker, but I don't know if it worked efficiently, so we'll put that away. We'll get you out. And earlier we tested if we can mix a orange by doing the red and yellow, but let's first see how juicy this is. And you are kind of still dry. And yellow, not too bad, but look at that. Don't tell me this doesn't blend better. So I feel like this definitely needs to be a little bit more juicy, but it's working. I don't think the paper can handle it. Paper's like, please, I can't handle it. It was blending better until I used too much. Next experiment. Some of you might disapprove of this, but I'm going to be putting the rubbing alcohol directly into the actual marker. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to give it, since it is a little juicy already, let's give it some time to become an alcohol marker. There we go. So let's give it some time to absorb, and we're going to continue doing with the same colors, because why not? Because my reasoning behind this is if the base of the actual markers is alcohol-based type, when we mix it, it should basically be the same thing, right? That's the reasoning. And hey, if this doesn't work, then maybe you should pick up the marker maker instead of the marker mixer. Just say it. All right, so I gave it a few minutes. Let's see how that red looks. It was already juicy to begin with. But this looks pretty good too. We're gonna compare the two next to each other, the first one and this one. It already feels less choppy. And let's go in with the yellow. And here we go. Okay, this is not looking bad at all. So already we can tell that the red has less streakiness going on. As compared to here, we can see all these tiny miniature gaps. So we're already elevating the markers a little bit more so that they look a little bit less, I guess, streaky. So again, look at these tiny little speckles of white. Whereas here, we're getting a lot less of it. And we can clearly see the orange over here and yellow. We're getting better variety. We're getting somewhere. And when we tried to mix just with the markers, again, it did do a pretty decent job, but we're seeing all this streakiness. Little patches of the marker over here. But look at that. Don't tell me this hasn't elevated the Crayolas. This has made Crayolas even better already. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of the rubbing alcohol on these, and now we're gonna combine them and see what happens. You gonna get some more drops like so. It's really drinking. Voila. And some drinking for you. Yeah, that is going down nice. Very nice. And I'm gonna let them sit on their sides and rotate them just a little bit. I would say for the next 2-3 minutes. Just gonna give them some time to mix a little bit of everywhere. So this way, and that way, and that way. Just giving them some time to mix with the water base. Now this is technically where more of the magic should happen because we have juicier alcohol-based markers. So we're going to go ahead, hang on. We need to make sure this is right. Let's get closer and let's put them both in at the same time. Go, go. There we go. Now we wait and see. The other option, what we could do is technically put more of the rubbing alcohol in the base as well, but let's see where this one brings us. I think we're at a good place right now. I don't see any of the colors actually blending in the middle, so I don't know what that means. Listen, maybe we're onto something here, maybe not, but I have one last experiment after this one, which I think is going to be putting rubbing alcohol on both the color markers and on the nib of the new one. But let's see where this goes. All right, so let's get our yellow. Oh, look at that. Our red, it's kind of dry. I think the rubbing alcohol on the nib is gonna make a big difference, and let's see if we can get a nice division. Dry. Not really. This is so weird. How are some bits drier than others? Let's try this way. Yeah, it's a little dry. Okay, we're gonna wet this nib. I think whether it's with rubbing alcohol or not, these nibs are constantly dry. We're gonna hydrate them. Let's do that. You're getting some, and you are definitely getting some. A lot. There. I really think the biggest problem of this kit is keeping the nib, well, shrimp. Are you kidding me? I definitely pressed the top part while I was inserting it. So let's try that again. As I was saying, I think the biggest flaw of this entire kit is that the marker in the middle tends to keep being dry. So it doesn't give us some really pretty colors. So I think this is good. Jackie, do not press down again. There. And now we have the two colors in. So everything should have a sufficient amount of moisture, okay? If that's the case and nothing still works, then the entire kit is the problem, and just being dry is a problem. All right, this is looking pretty promising. Hopefully we get, goodness, pull out. Hopefully we get more juiciness, because I think that's gonna make or break this kit. We started off with a question, now we get answers. And it does look quite juicy. And not just that, but the line in the middle looks way cleaner. So we'll see. So here's just red. Okay, it's still pretty dry. Yellow, okay, and no, hang on, let's try the tip. Nope. This is really hard to get the proper angle. Let's do this. It's one or the other, or something weird like this. This kit definitely does not deliver on its promises, but we are getting, look at that. We can actually make nice blending here. So the rubbing alcohol blending thing definitely works, looks better, but do we get a nicer Gradient? The answer is no. Oh, wait. Oh! Oh! You have to press really hard. Let's try that again. No, that was luck. Oh my gosh, we are ruining this nib. Come on. There you go. Got it. Holy shrimp. We got it. Yes. Yes. It got juicier. It finally worked. And it only took tweaking it quite a bit. So, does it work with rubbing alcohol? Yes. Does it work without rubbing alcohol? Not as well. But it is a one-time use kind of thing. So I'm going to say definitely not worth it. If you want to elevate it, or if you want the double color, just get the marker maker instead of the marker mixer. If you want to watch more experimental videos like making Crayola candles, and if it actually works, make sure you check up here. And if you want to watch Crayola marker maker, definitely check it out down here. Until then, I will see you grins in the next video.